Hello everybody, welcome or welcome back. It's Paula with Paula's Imperfect Plans. Today we are closing out our April 5th paycheck budget as we are approaching going into our next paycheck. So we will go ahead and jump in. My income was, as I expected, $1333.95. And my husband's income was $1473.10. My mileage reimbursement check was $401.74. And then round up, so when I put cash back in to cover non-cash expenses, I round up and then I add those up and put them back in. So that's $9 total, which puts our entire income at $3,217.79. So then we move down to our fixed expenses, and we definitely, let's see what we did here. All right, so we didn't do a donation. Our REC bill, which is our electric, was $301.44. Our car insurance, we did put away $325 for car and homeowners insurance, which comes due in May. So it's our homeowners, and then I think between the two of us, we have like 5 different vehicles: a Suburban, a van, a pickup, a Kawasaki Mule, and a motorcycle, all covered under those car insurance policies. $131 goes, I put a set aside for life insurance. Our XM, we have a promotional rate in one vehicle, and that is that cost is $648. $40 goes for my kids' insurance premiums. If you're familiar with the state of Iowa, they have Hawkeye, which is similar to Medicaid coverage, but the income limits are higher and there is a small premium per child, so we pay $40 a month for that. Our internet, so the second half of our internet bill that I set aside was $29.67. I did put $50 in our my son's school lunch account. Our Amazon Prime monthly is $748. Kindle Unlimited app for books is $12.83 a month. Our Netflix was also $12.83. Our HP Instant Ink was $5.29. My half of the garbage bill is $51, or was $51. And then the before school program was $24. All right, so let's jump in and see what we have for fixed expenses. All right, so our total fixed expenses were $997.02. So when I subtract that from what we actually brought in, we are left with a difference of $2,220.77 left to budget. So now coming down into our variable expenses, and I had been for the previous paycheck. I don't feel like I did it this time. Nope, I didn't do it very well. So typically, if we have any left over in these categories, I just take that cash and put it into the cash envelopes, but I don't always change it here. I still leave it the same. But this time the previous paycheck, I actually tracked, like, okay, so I know I actually did $280 in groceries. I didn't take any of that and put in anything. Eating out, I know I took like 31 or something that I took out of eating out. It wasn't 31. It was less than that. Okay, well, so, because I didn't track that. I didn't do a good job. Okay, beauty was 0 because I do know that I opted to take that cash and do something else with it. Get 60 for drinks and 30 of that, I think. Pretty sure only 30 went to drinks. And then 30 would have gotten rolled into, I'm kind of guessing on some of these amounts because I do actually kind of want to pay attention to how much I am able to, of those I actually spend. Allowance, $140. So that's 70 to me and 70 to my husband. You'll see mine typically accounted for on here because I do most of my allowance spending online. His 70 goes to him in cash and I don't see it again. So work meals was, I spent 14 on the meal that we went out for. Car wash, that was 0. That 15 went into savings challenges. Our diesel, which is our fuel for my husband's truck, he gets it at our local co-op, and then we get a bill for it every month. That amount was $104.77. To be completely transparent, so it's our local co-op, as I've said, and then it is, so when he charges fuel for his truck, we pay for that out of the personal account. There are some things like feed for the animals that we buy there that are farm expenses. So I write 2 checks when the bill comes and I separate it. So yes, this is diesel, but it's also any other snacks and junk that he gets when he's there that I can't justify paying for out of the farm account. But it has been significantly less than I budgeted anyway, so it's not a huge deal. I do still pull it out of there. So chores and donuts ended up being $8. And I feel like that's pretty close. And so then our total variable, because I know some of eating out went into saving challenges, but I don't remember how much. So I was going to do a better job of keeping track of that, and I did not do that with this paycheck. So our variable total was $676.77. If I subtract that from what we had left, that leaves me with $15.54 to budget. All right, then, so coming up into sinking funds, we do kind of the same general things over and over. So for Christmas, I put $25 into the high yield savings account. For LP, I put away $50. That's for our winter heating cost. Into travel, I did $99. So the travel sinking fund is the 100 envelope challenge that I'm doing like virtually. So I just transfer it into that sinking fund. $20 into the online kids sinking fund. 0 I put away for gas. I have a decent cushion in that account, and I've been saving or whatever, my mileage has been covering a lot of it, so I feel like I can cut that sometimes when I need to focus on other things. 25 set aside for vehicle repair and maintenance. $53 into the 52-week challenge, which goes into my high yield, right into my emergency fund. And I did put $40 aside for medical and $100 aside for into my tattoo sinking fund. And then in cash envelopes, what I have from what I budgeted plus what else? It was like $25 of beauty, $40 for the YouTube TV that we didn't end up having to pay for this month. And then any other of these things that I told you that, the extra money from work meals and from car wash and from chores and donuts and from drinks, that all goes into the cash envelopes, which is cash savings challenges and sinking funds. So that was $497 that went into that category approximately. So let's add that up. That is $909 total into sinking funds. And if I subtract 909 from the 1554 that we had going into sinking funds, I am left with $645 to budget. So then we're going to come down here into the other category. So I've said I realized that I could cancel it on the last day. I wanted to be able to see the women's college championship, and that was on Sunday evening, and I could cancel I canceled Monday morning. They would have billed me at some point on Monday, so I was able to cancel it without paying for a second month, so that's just zero. So typically this one is a little bit different, and it's a whole like messed it was because of just a whole messed up thing. But anyway, I actually, instead of my mileage check usually goes into my gas sinking fund, actually it was super close to just what we owed on the bill. So so I didn't even transfer it over, and I just paid, what was it? $405.67 was what I paid for that. So that's going to come under other. And then we had a little bit of a buffer. So that was essentially change that I had left over at the end when I go to zero out my budget. So that was 7 cents. So let's see then what we have in our other category. So it's 405.67 plus 7 cents is 405.74. If I subtract that from the 645 that we had going into this, coming in here, that leaves us with I've been having a whole lot of math, like it's weird because it's messed up on my spreadsheet. But okay, so what we actually put on the HELOC was $228.93, which is a difference of $10.33, which is weird because I don't really know where $10.33 would be. $228.93 is the payment that I made, the additional extra debt payment on the HELOC. So I do not know where that $10.33 went. First of all, I was looking at the wrong place for that. That was $30 that I set aside for the first half of the internet. So we need to go, hang on, I'm going to fix this. All right, so when I changed that from the $29.67 to $30, that brought the total here to $997.35, which left us with $220.44 left to budget going into the variable. So then our variable total didn't change, $676.77, which left us with $1543.67 to budget, coming up to our sinking funds. So then $1543.67 minus the $909 in sinking funds is $634.67. And then if we come down and subtract the $405.74 from the other category, that leaves us with $228.93, which is what we put extra on our HELOC. So this is $228.93 for the actual extra debt, leaving zero there. That brings us to the zero-based budget. And since I just double checked the math right here with you guys out loud, I'm not going to 676.77. I'm not going to redo it, but I am going to put it down here into these categories. So the total there is $405.74, and the extra debt was $228.93. So that leaves us with our zero-based budget, balances out all of that spending and shows you where our money went for this paycheck. So this is our completed closeout here, and the next video that you should see tomorrow will be the cash stuffing for the paycheck for the 19th. So thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I appreciate you all. Bye.